Detroit. Dean Van Leeuwen is an American musician and producer. He is best known as the guitarist for the rock band, Queens of the Stone Age, for which he has served since 2002. He is also known for his work with the seminal rock band, Failure, and with alternative rock supergroup, A Perfect Circle, as well as recordings with QOTSA members' side projects such as the Desert Sessions, Mondo Generator, Eagles of Death Metal, and the Gutter Twins. Van Leeuwen created his first side project, Enemy, in 2005, and a new side project, Sweethead, in 2008. Biography. Early life and career. Van Leeuwen was born January 5, 1970 in Los Angeles. His surname is Dutch. He became interested in music at an early age and his dad would play early rock and roll records such as Chuck Berry. His first big influence in learning how to play rock came through listening to Led Zeppelin records. Playing drums initially, Van Leeuwen sought to imitate Zeppelin drummer, John Bonham, but later switched to guitar and discovered that he had an aptitude for it. He cites Jimmy Page as a big influence. I would have to say that Jimmy Page was the first influence I had as a guitar player. There were so many textures and different sounds that he got. The riffs that he made were undeniably great. Every one of them. Even the mistakes he made were great. So to me, that was a great first influence. In the late 1980s, Van Leeuwen played in Jester, a successful Southern California band fronted by vocalist Eric Book. Jester released an EP, which is the earliest and most rare recording of a 16-year-old Van Leeuwen. He then played in a small band called Little Boots, with which he recorded a number of demos and played a few shows before the band's breakup. His next band was 60 Cycle, which released their debut Pretender in 1995, and their self-titled album the following year. It was during his time in 60 Cycle that Van Leeuwen met Keller Scott, and the two started working on a project. Van Leeuwen went on to play in Failure. The band released 3 records and didn't enjoy any commercial success, but was praised by critics as a talented and almost revolutionary group. It was during a tour with Failure when Van Leeuwen met former QOTSA guitarist Josh Homme, who was presently playing rhythm guitar with the Screaming Trees. After the breakup of Failure, Van Leeuwen became a session musician and recording engineer, working with groups such as Orgy, Crazy Town, Cold Chamber and Korn. A Perfect Circle. It was during his time as a session musician that Van Leeuwen met Tool frontman Maynard James Keenan, who offered him a spot in his and Billy Howard's new band, A Perfect Circle. Due to the band's lineup of talented musicians and good chemistry, Van Leeuwen accepted the invitation. The band played their first show at LA's Viper Club Reception on August 15, 1999. After playing shows in Los Angeles, the band entered the studio to begin work on their debut album. Soon, drummer Tim Alexander was replaced with session drummer Josh Freese. However, Alexander's performance can still be heard on the album version of the song The Hollow. After completing the recording of the band's debut album, Mare de Noms, the band began touring, initially as the opening act for 9 Inch Nails in 2000. Later, the band embarked on a number of headlining tours around the world, including the Canadian festival, Somersault. Mare de Noms was released on May 23, 2000, while the band was on tour. The album marks the highest ever debut for a new rock band, selling over 188,000 copies in its first week, and appearing at number 4 on the Billboard 200. Queens of the Stone Age. Van Leeuwen recorded guitar parts on only 3 tracks of A Perfect Circle's second album, 13th Step, before successfully auditioning for a spot in Josh Homme's Queens of the Stone Age. After outperforming Eddie White and others in the audition, Van Leeuwen was welcomed as the band's second guitarist for their Songs for the Deaf tour. Besides playing guitar, Van Leeuwen also performed on lap steel guitar, keyboards, backing vocals and occasionally bass guitar. Due to the band's schedule, Van Leeuwen had only 1 week to learn 30 songs before the tour began. For the European leg of the album's supporting tour, Dave Grohl left to return to his main band Foo Fighters. He was replaced with former Danzig drummer Joey Castillo. Songs for the Deaf was a critical and commercial success, and the singles No One Knows and Go With The Flow became hits on both radio and MTV. The tour culminated in a number of headline dates in Australia in January 2004. Van Leeuwen's first recording with QOTSA was Lullabies to Paralyze. The band entered the studio with longtime collaborator and multi-instrumentalist Alan Johannes, who replaced Nick Oliveri on the album. Van Leeuwen aimed to fill in some of the gaps in the music where he felt the sound could be expanded through atmospheric and ambient textures made by guitar, lap steel and piano. The album featured several guest appearances, most notably ZZ Top's Billy Gibbons, who performed backing vocals and lead guitar on Burn the Witch, and the ZZ Top cover, Precious and Grace. Despite reportedly turning down an invitation to remain with the band, Mark Lanegan recorded vocals on new tracks, and appeared with the band on the supporting tour when scheduling and his health permitted. The album was leaked onto the internet in February 2005, and was aired by Australian radio on March 3, 2005 as an unsubstantiated world premiere. The album was then officially released on March 22, 2005 in the USA, and debuted as number 5 on the Billboard Music Chart, the greatest initial success of any QOTSA record to date. On November 22, 2005, the band released a live album DVD set called Over the Years and Through the Woods, which featured a live concert filmed in London, and bonus features. After touring to support the album, the band headed back into the studio in July 2006. A year later, Van Leeuwen reported that the band had written new material that was still in its infancy, which whom later suggested might be released as an EP. This matured into their 2007 release Era Vulgaris, to which Van Leeuwen contributed a significant amount of material. Several sites reported that the album would include many guest vocalists, including Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, Julian Casablancas from The Strokes, Mark Lanegan, Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, and wittingly, deceased humorist Irma Bombeck. Josh Homme described the record as dark, hard, and electrical, sort of like a construction worker. Era Vulgaris was completed in early April 2007 and released in June 2007 in the US. The tracks Sick, 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 and 3s and 7s were released as singles in early June. Bassist Michael Schumann and keyboardist Dean Fertitta took over touring duties from Alan Johannes and Natasha Schneider respectively. Following a subsequent interview with Homme, the Globe and Mail reported that the EP could contain as many as 10 B-sides recorded during the Era Vulgaris sessions. It was since reported however that the EP would not be released due to the record label's unwillingness to put out another QOTSA release at this time. In a September issue of NME magazine, Homme stated that he was going back to make the new QOTSA and Desert Sessions records, along with remastering the 1998 self-titled album for an early 2009 release. Homme also stated Queen's new album is going to be a desert orgy in the dark. In 2013, QOTSA released Like Clockwork, Van Leeuwen's third full album with the band. On the album, Van Leeuwen plays guitar, percussion, 12-string guitar, 12-string slide guitar, lap steel, synthesizers, acoustic guitar and provides vocals. The album was the first QOTSA album to reach number 1 on the Billboard 200. It also reached number 2 on the UK Albums Chart and was nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, including Best Rock Album. Other musical work. In 2005, Van Leeuwen released Hooray for Dark Matter with his Sega project Enemy. The album features bassist Eddie Nappy from the Mark Lanegan Band, and his former bandmate from Failure Kelly Scott on drums. Van Leeuwen describes Enemy as his big, dumb rock trio, and a vehicle driven by pure and utter disgust of mediocrity and general frustration with the human condition. During Van Leeuwen's time with A Perfect Circle, Enemy recorded a 5-track demo in what he called guerrilla-style recording at various studios. The band offered to be signed by a record label by advertising for the princely sum of $250,000 on eBay. Enemy was ultimately signed by control group TCG, who released their debut album. After joining the Queens of the Stone Age, Van Leeuwen has also contributed music to band members' various side projects, such as the Desert Sessions, Mondo Generator, Eagles of Death Metal, The Gutter Twins and Mark Lanegan's solo album Bubblegum. After the era Vulgaris tour's end, Van Leeuwen began touring with his current side project, Sweethead. Musical equipment. According to Van Leeuwen, Queens of the Stone Age have a veil of secrecy regarding their exact setup, in order to maintain a unique guitar sound. However, over time Van Leeuwen eventually disclosed some information regarding his gear. Selected discography. Van Leeuwen has appeared on a wide range of albums from various bands and performers from a wide range of genres. References. External links. Mr. Enemy Troy Van Leeuwen fan site, official Queens of the Stone Age website, official Enemy MySpace.